This is being recorded, so we'll go ahead and begin. And when they join, they'll join, or they'll be watching it on the replay. Eliza as well. I know it's her birthday. I didn't know if she'd still be on the call or not because she was off today. This actually is a conversation for everybody anyway. It's not just for the concierge team. So you are all welcome on this call or the rewatch of the call. So everybody else, I'm going to send out a copy of this to everybody else too. So everybody's included in this and in what we're having a discussion about this morning. And the title is Great Guest Experience Practices. So this is an ongoing conversation, a never ending conversation, one that we'll have forever, indefinitely in our company, our family. There's Becca. It says connecting to audio. So she's about to come on. Great. So creating great guest experiences. So there's some things that are practices or things that we want to tighten up or put in place. Some conversations about measures, some conversations about what the point is, and a little bit of history, and also some of the current results. So I'll start with that and go to January. So for January this year, compared to January of last year, we had a great month. January was awesome for a lot of reasons because we actually were busier, but not with more traffic. So that's actually good news because we're busier this January than last January, not necessarily with more people in the salon. So the traffic is not up by much, which is by design. We want to have more time to spend with people to deliver great service, to give them great value. And we're able to do that. So we're, because we have more people, we are staffed more fully than we ever have been in history in a season month. So we have all the support staff. We have more support staff than we've ever had. And that includes assistants, associates, stylists, and concierge team, all of you. So that gives us an opportunity to make the experience even better for people. And that's more of what it's all about, is their experience overall, not just getting the haircut done like a commodity, like cut the hair onto the next because it's season and we're so busy. That's kind of the attitude of so many different businesses in town right now. It's just like, hey, it's season, get out of my way. There's somebody right behind you. I will take care of that person now. If you don't have the patience for me, move on. We're not doing more people this year. So that's by design. We're doing more services on those people. So that's something that's a little bit different. Doing more services, charging properly, and which has resulted in an increase in business for us. So we're able to deliver the service that we're known for this year. In addition, there's sometimes a conversation that creeps in about this time is that, oh my gosh, it's so, we're so busy. It's season. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. Now, while there might be some of that, there's not a big increase in the workload this year over last year. So the average stylist this year in January has worked 27 hours a week. The average stylist in January last year worked 29 hours a week. So stylist wise, a couple hours less per week on average that they're working. A couple things, we're going to be talking about a couple things this morning that we want to make sure that we take advantage of and that we do to some things that maybe we had some breakdowns and some things that happened over the last month that we want to make sure that we tighten up what happens. So this card here is, you may have seen one of these, and I don't know if that shows up backwards or not. It probably does. Yeah, it looks like it might. I don't know. Does it? Yeah, it does. It never mind. That's not going to help you. This is our 6-step card.
No, it didn't. It went right. So
it reversed. Okay. In mine, it shows the wrong way. Okay. So this little card here was, what's on this card was created many years ago, and it's sort of just how we operate summed up on a little piece of paper here. And it has a mission statement on there. It has the 6 steps of service on there. And it has 18 basics or best practices on here. And they're just fundamental, simple little sentences of how we operate. Little bullet points. And I'm just going to pull one item off this card this time and talk about it for a minute. That's the very first step, and that's the greeting. So it sounds like the most simple. It sounds like the most fundamental. It sounds like like, come on, how could we even want to waste time on a conversation like that? It's so simple, but it really is the most, one of the most important of everything that we do, because it sets the tone for the entire visit of the guest. So the greeting or the welcome or the hello or at whatever area you meet that person, whether it's at the door, on the phone, at the back of the salon, you're just seeing them for the first time and they're all on their way out, but it's still a greeting for you. So that personal moment where you stop, say hello, welcome them in, whether they've been coming for 40 years or it's their very first time, it's something that becomes so transactional and so ordinary this time of year. When you're seeing 50 people in a day, it can almost be automatic, like, hello, you're here to see who? Hello, you're here to see who? Or the phones are ringing off the hook, and you've got two more lines ringing, you got somebody to call back, and that that momentary pause in taking a deep breath to say hello and welcome, to get out from behind the front desk and open the door for somebody, to welcome them into our home. Because for them, it hasn't been the chaos of the whole day of the 51 people. It's only their hour, their time, their moment. So it's one of the most critical aspects of it to make sure is happening. And I see this happen sometimes when there's a backup in the salon or somebody's behind, they'll run up, give that quick hello, because they're so overwhelmed and backed up, because it happens. And it becomes like we become like just a commodity, just a haircut. And that's one thing that we can never, ever be, is just a haircut to people. And I know this might sound like, I've heard this before. Yeah, I know this, but actually stopping and letting it in to be, okay, the 50 people, the 30, the 20, the 10 people, whatever number you're going to interact with today, you have an opportunity to radically alter their lives forever. And it sounds so silly. I'm just cutting their hair. We're just checking them out, or we're just taking their credit card, or whatever it is. But the way you listen to them and the way you interact with them makes a huge difference. There was a lady yesterday who came in to the Village. She stopped in, and Charlie, you'll remember this woman yesterday. She stopped in, yes, and she was looking at products, and she was reading the label of the products, and she asked if she could use one of the products, if she could test it out to use it before. She's not a client. She's never been in before. She asked if there was an open one that she could try it out on her hair. I think it was a fiber form or something.
It was the grip wax.
Okay, the new one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she, that's not the name of it on the bottle, right? I don't know, whatever it's called. It's in a little jar, right? Mm-hmm. So she, she used it. She was asking a bunch of questions about it. Like, and Virginia was answering the questions to her. Hi, Sophia. Good morning. She was answering the questions for her about what the product is for, how to use it. And she just was confused about the product. Like, I don't understand what this is for, how this is going to work. I just want my hair to do X, Y, Z, whatever it was. Virginia spent time with her, told her about the product, told her it could be good for her hair, might not be. Her hair might be too fine for it. But she said it would work if she used it in a very small format. So the woman said, okay, I'm going to go for a walk. What time are you open till? And I said 7:00. And the woman left the salon and went for a walk because she said she was going to think about it. She wasn't sure if she wanted to buy it or not. So she left, and she came back a little while later, and she said, yeah, I think I'm going to get it. And Virginia said to her, well, all the products are 100% guaranteed, which many places say that. They say that our stuff is guaranteed. They don't tell you the fine print, but a lot of places will say, yeah, it's guaranteed. Sure it is. Except if you use it on Tuesdays, except if the humidity drops below a certain temperature, except all the fine print. So the woman, having experienced a lot of this in her life, said, well, really, does it say that on the receipt? She asks Virginia if it says it's guaranteed 100% money back, no questions asked. And it doesn't say that on the receipt. So the woman said, will you put that in writing for me? Now, this is a $30 bottle of, or 20, whatever the dollar amount is of this wax. So Virginia says, sure. So Virginia writes her out a little note saying, you know, we guarantee this. It's okay. Hands her the note. The woman pulls out her Black American Express or whatever card she had to pay for this. And I was listening to this conversation. I walked out and I said, this is going to be a gift from us. This one's on us. It's a gift for you to try out and see if you like it. You're new to our company. I'd like to just show you how much we believe in our product. If you love it, you'll be back to buy more of it. She said, oh my gosh, no one's ever done that for me before. Oh my God. She was flabbergasted by this gift of a product. But the point of it is, it wasn't the gift of the product. It was that what people come in with is this already always way of expectations of what a business is going to be like how they're going to say, oh yeah, we guarantee it. But this cynicism of the relationship, and they find that there's such genuineness when they see that there's authentic genuineness. And listen, we want your sale. Yeah, that's important to us, but we also want you to be here for your hair. We want you to buy that product again. We don't want you with a sink full of products under your sink that you're never, ever going to use again, that you can't take back because Ulta won't take it back, or you've passed the window on Amazon for whatever it was that you bought it for. So building that trust for that moment, you know, makes such a difference. And you all do that in certain little ways, listening for those little gold moments of what it is to listen and serve a guest and get them beyond that already always way that people are so used to, that transactional way of interacting with people. A haircut, it's just transactional. A checkout process, it's just transactional. It's off to the next. Where's the kiosk? I could just do it on a kiosk. And it's so much different than that. And what we've got to make sure that everybody gets is an experience that is so much different than that. Every single one, not just, you know, the ones we like, and there's the ones that we work hard for to try to turn them around and have their days be extraordinary, and we do what we do for them. So keeping all of that in mind at the height of the season right now, it's important.
Even and everybody will tell you at the village because I drive them crazy. And it's like when a guest comes to check out and there's like 5 of us up front and a couple of us are on the side having our own conversation. And I'm always telling everybody, stop it. Because for that guest, 5 minutes, even if we think, oh, well, you know, she's checking him out, I can still talk over here. Like that's that 5 minutes for that guest that even if we're not all talking to her, we can all give her our undivided attention. And she just spent XYZ dollars here, or whatever it is. So she doesn't want to hear about what so-and-so did last Friday or what they're going to do next Tuesday. Like that's her undivided, like maybe people in her life don't pay attention to her. Who knows whatever it is. Where else in the world does that happen where we aren't focused on ourselves and care deeply about the guest in front of us? Even if it's 3 minutes, it makes a huge difference. And that's something I'm always aware of as well.
Yeah, it is their experience. I mean, they look forward to this hour, these 2 hours. It's a really, really big deal to them. It's not just when you go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned. You know, that's a task that you have to do. That's something that you don't really look forward to. You like the feeling of it after, but no one looks forward to that like they do. Now, when somebody comes into our place, they're coming there to look and feel beautiful, to get that experience of that in so many ways. And that's the attention is on them. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I know you all know this. I know it's like kind of what you live and breathe every single day. But I want to make sure it's in the forefront of everything, because now that we are doing a manageable number of guests, we want to make sure that that stays in the forefront of everybody's vision. So, you know, that people get swept up in that conversation. Oh my gosh, it's season. The traffic is so bad and life is so horrible and it's so overwhelming. Listen, in 8 weeks, it's not going to be, and we're going to be complaining the other way. So it's really not maybe the traffic is, but inside of our buildings and inside of what we're doing, we have the time now to make sure that we're, you know, creating those experiences like that Yelp review for people where they're moved and touched and blown away by whatever it is that we did for them that was over and above and beyond the ordinary, just what they're not used to. So keep that in mind, help spread that and share that with others around you about what those experiences are.
Even if like I know that that's what I live for, I get like excited to take care of guests. I get so excited when there's people here and we're not slow and there's people here and I can do it all day long. Like I feed off of that energy. Like just makes my day so much better when I get to be over abundantly kind to people all day long. But even if we're all already used to that and we're all already doing that, sometimes just it's empowering and a reminder, and it gets you kind of hyped up talking about our purpose and our why again, because sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the drama of the day, or oh my gosh, did you see XYZ did this? Oh my gosh, what is she thinking? Whatever. But that stuff's gonna always happen every day, no matter which location we're at. That stuff's gonna happen. So just how much more fulfilling is it to focus on our purpose, our why are we all part of this company? Why do we all do what we do? It's so much of a better energy to live off of as well.
And it's real easy, I think it's great to presence this because it's every day you go in hoping that the day is going to look a certain way. And for all of you, especially, it never is the way that you thought it was going to be. There's always something, no matter how many years, months, days, whatever it is that you've been doing this, every single day is different. And there's always some new challenge or thing that gets dropped on your lap that you have to deal with that wasn't expected. And it's not a part of the script. It's not a part of the way we wanted the day to go, but we still have to deal with it. Somebody shows up to the wrong salon. So-and-so's out sick. The ceiling is falling down and there's water leaking all over the stations. The sink doesn't work. You don't have enough change in the drawer. The computer is slow. The internet is down. The fill in the blank. So-and-so's got a flat. You got a tax bill. You didn't get back as much money as you thought you were going to get back. There's always something, and it's oftentimes not great news, but what your masters at are turning that around and still, despite the circumstances, making sure that people have great experiences around you, making sure the day goes well, whatever breakdown there is, because there's always going to be something. There's never going to be that perfect day where you have all the time in the world and life is just dandy and the air conditioning is working great and everybody's on time and people are so happy with the services that they got and it all just flows so perfectly. It's just there are days like that, not very often, but that happens. At the same time, it's how we respond that really moves people. It's how we react to those situations when somebody shows up and they're at the wrong location. There's no way they'll make it to the other location in time, but we find a way to get them in and we get the team together and the team rallies around it, or somebody didn't come in who was supposed to be there for somebody who's getting ready for a wedding. And we miraculously figure out a way to get this person done so that they're so in love with how we handled it that it makes a big difference, that the breakdown turned out to be the greatest gift to them. So, with that in mind, thank you for doing what you do, because you guys are on the front line. You hear from the back of the house and the front of the house and the phones, and all areas go to you. It's always your fault or always your way. And that's just for everybody. So I appreciate you for being that for our culture, for our family, and for our team.
I also wanted to share something that I've just found like fascinating the last week and a half. So, on Facebook or whatever, everybody always writes all their, how many times a day do we see when somebody's like best hairstylist in Naples? How often is that posted? Well, on this one post, this woman was like, oh, don't go to this salon. And it's funny, I actually talked to her, and then I actually met another person who actually went through the same thing. But it just made me realize how far set apart we are from other places. This woman had gone to this other salon, and she and a few other people, they have to sign a waiver before they are even done, even if it's just highlights, retouch. When it's their first visit there, they have to sign a waiver saying that there's no redos, there's no, this is what you're having done and you're signing and that's it. And you also have to pay a 50% deposit that's non-transferable or refundable. So like 50% you pay ahead of time and it's gone, and that's somewhere in town that's happening. And then, so the woman was expressing that she was not happy with her hair. And I've actually spoken to her and talked to her about coming in, and we're working on that. But she's not happy with her hair. And literally, I saw she posted pictures of the before, the after, their conversations. I mean, she had all the stuff. And since she signed the waiver, she paid $470 with no blow dry. That was just what highlights. And they don't care that she's not happy. They don't care. So it just made me very grateful of how far, we set such a different tone where if somebody's not happy, I want to know. Like, I want to know so that I don't want somebody to leave and be not happy. I want to fix it. We all do. Who wants that, So, and that's just in our culture, and that's who we are as human beings. And it just makes me so grateful to be around the people that I get to be around every day.
Well, yeah, and people are moved by that because there's actually somebody that cares. They didn't just want that one block of time and that $1 amount of money. The value of one guest to us is $24,000. A retained guest, $24,000. So the short-sightedness, yeah, that's right, $24,000. No, we'll do the math on that on another call, but that's really, by the time you count how much they spend in a year, and they stay with us for 10 years and they send us referrals. So to have that short-sightedness to only say, well, I just want this one, we're going to get your money whether you like it or not, and that's it, end of story. It's just not how we operate. We do want them to be happy. The perpetually unhappy is another story, but there's just few and far between. They just stand out because they because they are a disruption to it, because they're never happy, no matter what we do for them. But for the 99.9% of them, that's all we want. And when we get them, and when they're so moved and touched by people caring, because that's all it is, they just want to be around people that care. Hey, they care about me. They don't just want that sale today. They want the sale ongoingly forever. And we want them to be raving fans that support us forever. So definitely a part of our culture, and the difference between us and so many other places. And it's why you are in the position that you're in, because we trust you to create that with people. And that's a part of what you are accountable for each day. I know there's some business things. Anybody want to add anything? Don't have to.
I want to point out that, like, when Lexi was texting me on Saturday when I was at Bayfront, and we were Velouse was taking Shelly, who was getting like a like a toner and blow dry and all that, and I took like the extra steps to make sure she was okay, made sure she was like happy with everything, and she was very grateful of everything that we did, both Velouse and I. And she wanted us to like know that like it touched her that we took such good care of her, and I made sure, and Lexi made sure that I had everything like ready for everything, so that touches me and touches the person who we're taking care of as well, and the communication, so that I wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that's great. Like the behind the scenes work that goes into making sure that the
Yeah,
guest gets their experience and has it be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
And it's great
which
teamwork
it
too.
yes, yeah, exactly, we're a team, and we're very we make sure everybody's good type thing, which I love.
Yeah.
That's that, and the communication is very key. Meaning, like, if like someone tells me someone's on their way, like how we communicate on Slack or text message or anything, that helps too.
Yeah. Even the
So
thoughtfulness that so and so left her book at the salon, or left her phone, or left her, you know, uh, the thoughtfulness of that. I mean, that's care and concern for, and the follow up. Like, listen, she's concerned about it, and somebody's gonna follow through with making sure the person gets it back. And it's a simple little thing, but it matters to that person, that book or her reading glasses or whatever it is that they leave, because there's always something every day I see that somebody's leaving behind or has a question about. And I love that you all have the care and the concern for just those little things too. All right, there's some things that some practices that we've got to take advantage of or put in place or up the do a little bit differently or more meticulously in terms of how we our behind the scenes work with people. And one, I think, Lex, we were talking about this, was the importance of an email address and why.
Well, and it doesn't have to be something super awkward. Even if I'm on the phone with somebody and I notice we don't have it, it's in this new software. It is a lot more important so that they get, and like it's just a different level of communication there as well. So I'll just be on, and I'm gonna say probably 90% of guests want to give it to me when I'm like, oh, by the way, can I just complete your guest profile? I noticed we don't have an email. Whether that's on the phone or in person, it just, anywhere, if I go make an appointment anywhere, they ask for my email. So it's not, I mean, Marshall's wants my email, so it's not super uncommon. And people are prepared, ready, like we're in a different, it doesn't have to be a big awkward thing to ask for that, but just being aware. And even if it's on a phone call, if you're like, oh, by the way, I noticed we don't have your email, can I just complete your profile real quick? And it just
a couple
everywhere,
reasons,
whenever we see it.
a couple reasons why it's really important is, in the old system, they would get all the same data from one text. In this system, they do not. They do not get the same amount of information from a text that they would in an email. So it sends them both in this system. But if there's no email, for example, I don't know of another way, and maybe somebody can investigate this, but right now, if we just have the phone number, it doesn't give all the detail as the location and the detail of the service as much as it does on an email. On an email, it will specify the location and give more information within the email than it does with just a text. So, we've had people show up at the wrong location because of that as well. So it creates other problems by not having that. So it used to be, we used to say, get their email because we wanted to do more marketing to them. But now the email is not for that purpose. It's actually for our communication with them. So it's not even a matter of us saying, we want it, we'll keep it just for us, we'll only send you a few emails. It's literally for the integrity of the appointment, number one. That's the most important part. And they can always choose whether they want other emails from us. They could say, hey, stop sending them to me, whatever. They have all the control of that on their end. So
yeah, and I've had a couple people who have also said things like, oh, like you have it, you should have it. And the easiest way to navigate around that is just to explain that we changed systems and that, let's just complete, what we have here, and it might not have made it over, or this, that, the other.
yeah. Yeah, excellent point, because maybe it didn't. If there was a space at the end of it in the last one, it wouldn't have imported properly. So we're just cleaning it up, and great point about that. But it really will help. And also in the world of transparency, it makes sure that they get the receipt emailed to them, which lists everything out that was done, and it lists all the services and the costs. And so there is a level of transparency there. So it helps in a lot of ways. So it's really critical. Emails, you want to keep your eye on that and make sure that's happening.
Well, and then just the other thing, I'm just creating, and I know everybody is awesome, and I'm not saying this is talking about anybody specifically or anything, but just creating uniformity across the phones, noticing if we search in Timely and see that there have not been here before or something, confirming which location they taking those extra steps, because sometimes people don't, even if they call a certain number, they might have no idea. They just type in Google, they have no idea that we have 3 locations. So doing those extra little things like, which location did you want to go to? Okay, that's the one across from Tin City. And then they're like, oh, well, no, I thought that was by the bay. I thought Bayfront meant Bayside, you know, like, so taking all those little steps to creating uniformity as far as, you know, phone calls, and then even going as far as asking as many questions as we can on a phone call and putting notes about that, or getting pictures. That just helps if it's a new guest, finding out, do they have long or thick hair? What are they looking for? Do they have a picture of what they would like to have done? That's just going to continue to set us apart from other places.
Yeah. So I want to, on the phone, on the confirming the location part. So here's what's happening, because the phone, so we essentially right now have 6 phone numbers. We have the number that shows up for them in the text, which they can actually call. And that's a number that's assigned to each location, but it's not a number we advertise. So they could be calling that number. They could be calling the actual salon number, or they could just be calling whatever number gets Googled and the first one that comes up. So there's not necessarily, and sometimes we will use just 3122, just Bayfront number for a certain marketing piece, because it only lets us put one phone number in. So that's the mix up with it, or that's the thing that is sort of happening overall right now, is that the phone numbers aren't necessarily tied to one location. So all the more reason why we have to make sure that we're clear to them about what location it is they're going to, even if they've been here before. You know, people sometimes still need to be reminded, or don't always know. You think, well, didn't you already go to that location before? So something else just to put in as a practice to make sure, because we're noticing that too, because we still have the two phone numbers. And I noticed that people do still, you could see it in the upper right-hand corner. Sometimes if people somebody calls on one of those numbers, it will show up on your display. And then what it does is it forwards to one of the other phones, which two parts. And the second part of that is, as much data as you can get, and getting them to send pictures is phenomenal, but as much information, many notes, and as much whatever details you can put in there about them, it's better to take the time to do that, so that information shows up, so that we're more prepared when they show up. And when they show up and they're in the salon, whatever their preferences are, things that they like or don't like, or things you want to remember, take the time to put a little note in there about that, because that just gives us one more leg up when they come back. Or if they go to one of our other locations, there's a note in there that about how they like their cappuccino. There's a note in there about how they like their shoulders rubbed, or there's a note in there about their preferences with a certain product being used. And all those little details, when other people can utilize that information that you picked up from them, it makes them, makes us look good. It makes us think, wow, they really do care. There's another level of service that's a little bit different.
Well, and also just making sure too, like, and I've had to be aware of this as well. So just making sure if somebody is new, always marking it new, because sometimes when I'm in the salon, I try, just like that, me, Sophia, me and Charlie, we go try to introduce ourselves to all the new guests, and I'll be you can kind of tell when somebody's new. So then if it's not marked, I'm like, wait a minute, is this your first time here? And then that's like, so giving us that little extra, like we can be ready for a new guest. Or, there's also all those little tags if it's their second time here. When we're rebooking, if it's their second time that we're rebooking, that they're going to be coming in, marking it as second or third visit, so that we can be aware of that and make that a big deal. Or all those little things. It's all tools for us to make us better at what we're doing, and being prepared and out of the complete ordinary, because there's very few companies that all these people were talking about that worked at Nordstrom's. They're like, I went into Nordstrom's, and 10 years ago I worked there, and I was taught and trained to go above and beyond for guests. And now the guy looked at me like, you're too cheap. Why, like, it's just not existent anymore. So continuing to use those little tools that set us apart from everywhere else.
Yeah, especially like it sounds, second visit, you think, well, they're coming back, so that's okay. Yeah, they have been here before, but usually not till the fifth visit are they considered retained. Like, we really have captured them. We've won them over. They love us. It's okay. We can breathe. So second, third, fourth visits matter just as much as that first one. And that first visit, if you're not sure if somebody's new, because it might be the first visit inside a Boulevard, but Boulevard hasn't seen everybody yet, so it's going to look like a first visit, but it might not be. And the question you may pose is, you've been to the salon before, right? So if they haven't, it's an easy out. And if they have, it's not like, oh yeah, I've been coming here for 20 years, duh. Yeah, well, yeah, you knew that by asking the question that way. So if you're not certain, and making sure that there is that extra time that's taken with them. We haven't talked about this in a while, and I know I haven't followed up with you in a while about this, but are they getting that new guest welcome? Are they getting that new guest tour? So more to come on that. If you're not, making sure that that's in place, where there is that giving them that welcoming experience of, this is who we are, this is why we're different, this is your spiel about why you're here, what it is that you do that's different, and why you're a part of this. Are you just here to, so many people in so many positions now are just doing time till they get to the next place. It's that's not a fulfilling way to do anything. So if that's where you're at, I'm sorry, but I don't think you are. I hope not. Get to that place where you're just doing time and just paying the bills. It's not fulfilling. It's not going to get you anywhere, and it's not the kind of environment that I want to create for you, that you just are anyone is just getting by and doing time and serving till something out in the future happens. On texting, okay, this is another kind of managing a technical part of things. We get texts on Telsio, and we respond on Telsio that way too. So what I'm requesting, and I'm, if there's some things we need to work out with this, we'll work the bugs out of that. This is the last piece here. If you can respond to those incoming texts in Boulevard instead of in Telsio, a couple reasons why. One is Telsio doesn't keep the text information within Boulevard. Obviously, it's in a separate platform, but also we have to pay for outgoing texts in Telsio. No, it's not about that. It's not about the, getting the, saving the 10 cents or whatever it is, a text going that way, although that's a part of it, but that's not the key issue. The key issue is getting the communication so that it's all in one place, and so that we're teaching them to communicate on that platform too. So if they send an incoming text, if you send the text back to them in Boulevard, so that communication stays within there. So I know that takes an extra step, but it's just something I'd like you to be working on instead of using Telsio. Does that sound like something feasible? Those of you on the phones, Mickey, hi, Becca, hi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a problem.
You may have to, like, if you put in a number and it doesn't show up, like I had to add a guest in, or if it was a new person texting. But
yeah,
I feel like that doesn't happen often.
Yeah, if it's somebody new, obviously, yeah, you may not be able to do that if it's somebody new or the number's not there. But for the ones that you have the number, then it's something I'd like you to do. Okay, I covered the main points. You are going to get something else that lists on the end of day. We're going to be looking at your specific results of your interactions with guests, and that's your results with the 6 steps. So on a daily basis, you will be putting in those numbers into Slack versus putting in a snapshot of the cash count. So you'll be putting in your pre-book and your retail per guest for that day. So just be aware of that. There will be a message in Slack about what report to run, so that you can see the effectiveness of us in the 6 steps on the particular days that you work. The target for pre-book is 70%. Month to date right now, see here, month to date at the locations. Tell you that in a minute. Now be cautious of this, because you will have conversations coming up very, very soon that says, oh, I can't rebook that because I'm going home in 3 weeks. I'm going home in 2 weeks. I'm not going to be here. So you want to train yourself or learn from your mentors how to handle those conversations, because that becomes a real easy way to say, oh, my pre-book's so low because everybody's leaving. But there are conversations that you can have with people that teaches them and educates them that let's get it on the book. I know you don't have your flight book back. I know you don't know when you're coming back, but the value in them having a commitment in the future, not just to get that pre-book number up, but them locking into us at a particular time. Sometimes they will then book their lives around their hair appointment and their return to their ROP family. So it's always good for them to have something to negotiate with or some future appointment. And the future really matters for those that leave and those that stay. Every 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever that number is, makes a huge difference in our business, because we know what the future is going to be like, and they know they're going to look good in the future. So they don't have to wait till their roots are grown out and somebody says, wow, what happened to you? What salon do you go to? I go to Robert of Philadelphia. Well, looking like that, it doesn't look like you go there, or you haven't been there in a long time. The value and how important it is. And so I hope that you're taking the time and not waiting till they're about out the door to ask them if they'd like to book their next appointment, that you're doing that while they're in the business, while they're there. So you have time and they have time to make sure that that future gets booked. That's really foundationally, critically super important and part of the 6 steps.
And if I may add to that real quick, for those
Sure.
people that are leaving for the season, when they do say, oh, I don't know when I'm coming back, the easiest way to say, well, you come every 4 weeks. So why don't I count it out for you, and I could let you know when that will be in November or in December, and then let's book it from there. And then if we need to make any changes, once you know your plans, we can change them, over the summer. But offer them that I'll count it out every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks, because you're going to want to get in before Thanksgiving, or you're going to want to get in before Christmas. So let's at least book it the week before the holiday or something like that. Give them suggestions like that. And then they'll be grateful, because they're not thinking that far ahead, but they do know that they're not going to be able to get in.
Well, and then it also offers saying, you want to get it in now to get what you want. If there's like a certain time, some people like the morning, and then they realize, oh, well, you wait with Diana, there's not going to be any mornings. So let's get you, so you can get that time slot,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. See, there's the mentors I'm talking about. They have the, like they've been there, done that, and have a lot of experience in that area where you want to coach and train, because it's really easy to get, and especially if they're already out the door, it's going to be really hard for you to have that conversation. You want to start that earlier. And I love that, Marina, get in that cycle of 8 weeks. We know what that is already. So here's where we are so far for month to date at each location. So overall, company-wide, we're at 65%. At the Village, we're at 62%. At Bayfront, 69%. And at Promenade, we're at 67%. So there's really not that many guest difference between 65 and 70%. So it's literally only those, it's usually only a handful that will get you over the 70% on a daily basis. So it's paying attention to that and knowing what that is. So you're being intentional with your team and everybody around to have them support you and having that happen, because it helps them, it helps everybody on the team. So, don't have it be all on your shoulders, but just share with people where you are throughout the day. You'll be able to look this up throughout the day, so you know where we are, where we want to be. And, we have to make sure that we're prepping people from the moment they walk in the door, and not just wait until they walk out and then just not having a great story about why you didn't have the number, because there's plenty of reasons why not. But it really makes a difference, and it's going to matter for April. It's going to matter for May. It's going to matter for June to make sure that these people stay within a cycle. So it's a training process and an education process. So just be on the lookout for that. That will be something that probably later today or tomorrow you will have, so that you'll be able to check throughout the day where you are and what the results are of the team and what you created for that day for the team and individually as well. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, we wanted to talk about maybe putting in the pre-book into our closing instead of sending the pictures that we do, since we don't really need that, but maybe put in the pre-book.
That's what he just
and
talked about happening tomorrow or today.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna put whether it's a spreadsheet or a link to a spreadsheet or whether they just type it in, and it'll be one of the beta reports. It'll be listed in there, so you'll be able to run that for the day or month to date, or I don't know. I'll talk to you, Beck. I'll talk to you about that. Get some insight from you on creating that with me, so we get that for today or tomorrow. So
Perfect. I am gonna bounce a little though, because I have a full house here and no one's at the desk.
Go right ahead. Thank you very
All
much.
right, bye.
Okay, I think that's it for everybody else. Anybody? Go ahead.
What are you gonna? Is that gonna set up the review thing as well?
Oh, the reviews. Yes, we need to do that too. So I don't know if we have a solution for this yet, but I want you to be aware of it. There is a tab in Boulevard that has reviews. Now you have to specifically go there. It doesn't pop up and tell you that you got a review, but so there are many, many reviews that we've gotten that haven't been reviewed. And the issue with that is that we want to be able to address an issue with people when they bring it up. There's a little link at the bottom of their receipt that says, smiley face, sad face, mad face, and they can write a comment about it too. Those reviews go inside Boulevard. We don't have a practice set up. So we're going to need to set something up so that those are managed on a daily basis. The good ones are recognized and shared in Slack. The ones that are not good, that they're addressed and also shared in Slack, so that we can learn from the feedback that we get. But we are getting feedback and it's just not being managed right now. So if you want to find that tab in there, we'll be designating a way for us to, part of the daily routine is going to be to review those and to do something, to take action on those. So something else that'll be a practice within the day that everybody needs to be aware of is to handling the feedback of the guests. And anything else?
No, I don't think. I think we're all good. All good.
Okay. Sophia, thank you. Marina, thank you. Charlie, thank you. Robert,
Sophia,
thank you.
Sophia,
Gustavo, thank
Hello.
you. Sam, thank you. Mickey, hi. Thank you, Mickey.
Mickey.
And whoever else is listening or watching, or whoever else watched this and made it to this point, congratulations. Thanks for taking the time to do that. Have an amazing day.
Hey, guess what? Mickey comes to Naples next week. Woohoo!
Mickey, it sounds like a movie. Mickey comes to Naples. All right. Welcome to Naples.
We're going to
See
make
you
it a
soon,
movie.
Mickey. Bye, everybody.
Yay,
Have a great
very
day.
excited to see you all.
Oh, yay.
Yay! Okay,
Make sure
bye.
you stop by Bayfront too.
We'll add it to
Oh,
the
you
list.
know I have to. I got to.
Okay, good.
Bye, everybody.
Yay! Okay.
Have a
Bye.
great day.
Thank you,
guys so
everybody.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a great day,
Bye.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.